What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report for Monday, August 11, 2014. Delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Here's the latest on the tragic NASCAR race and fatal accident involving Tony Stewart. Stewart did not compete in Sunday's NASCAR Sprint Cup race at Watkins Glen International after he was involved in a fatal crash that claimed the life of another driver in upstate New York hours earlier. Stewart's racing director, Greg Zeppedelli, said early Sunday. Kevin Ward Jr., 20, was struck and killed Saturday night when he lost control and got out of his car and was standing on the dirt track, Ontario County Sheriff Philip Prevero said in a statement obtained by the RAP. As Ward stood outside of his vehicle, two cars approached him. The first car swerved to avoid the driver out of the track. The second car, operated by Tony Stewart, struck the driver, the statement said. Amateur video uploaded to YouTube shows Ward standing outside of his number 13 car and walked on the track towards other vehicles which had slowed down because the race was put into caution. Ward pointed a finger and appeared to be yelling at the passing cars. One car swerved to avoid him before he was hit by Stewart's number 14 car. The incident happened at about 10:30 p.m. at the Canandaigua Motorsports Park during the Lucas Oil Super Sprint feature race. Ward was transported to the F.F. Thompson Hospital where he was pronounced deceased at 11:15 p.m., the Sheriff's Department said. The track is about 2 hours from Watkins Glen International Racetrack where Stewart had been scheduled to race on Sunday. Zeppedelli, who is director for Stewart-Haas Racing, said Stewart, a three-time NASCAR champion, feels strongly about not racing following Kevin Ward's fatal accident. The decision was about face for Zeppedelli, who earlier told reporters that Stewart would indeed take part in Sunday's competition. Zeppedelli said, "We feel strongly that this is the right thing to do." Zeppedelli added, "Our hearts go out to Kevin's family. This is a very tough, very emotional time for everybody, his family, our family at Stewart-Haas Racing." Regan Smith will replace Stewart in Sunday's race, according to Zeppedelli. The Sheriff's Department said Stewart has cooperated with investigators, which is ongoing. Ontario County Sheriff Philip Prevero told TMZ Sports they checked Stewart's number 14 sprint car and Ward's number 13 to see if there was a mini-cam footage of the moment the NASCAR superstar barreled into Ward, but came up with nothing. It's odd because TMZ was told by multiple sources in the racing world Stewart commonly has a mini-camera of some sort mounted on his cars when he races on small dirt tracks like Canandaigua. TMZ made multiple calls to Stewart's racing team but have not heard back. The sheriff also told TMZ there was no recordings of communication between Stewart and his pit crew, though our TMZ sources say that standard ops for a small race not airing on TV. That lack of evidence perhaps explains why the sheriff has made several pleas to the public for any footage of the incident. It's simply not clear from the YouTube footage already out there if Stewart was reckless. In another scary situation, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson reveals family was hit by a drunken driver, posts shocking photos of the accident. The Rock says his first thoughts after hearing that an alleged drunk driver smashed into a car carrying his mother, Alta Johnson, and cousin WWE NXT personality Lena Fanene was of vengeance, but now he's just grateful they're alive. The action star currently on the big screen in Hercules posted a photo of the crash on his Instagram page Sunday, along with details of what happened. He wrote in the caption, "My mom and cousin at Lana Fanene were struck head-on by a drunk driver this week. They live. First reaction is to find the person who did this and do unrelenting harm to them, but then you realize the most important thing is my family lived through this and we can hug each other then much tighter these days." Johnson didn't say anyone was seriously injured, but he did offer his followers a bit of advice. He wrote, "Hug your own family tired today and be grateful you can tell them you love them." 2 years ago, Johnson bought his mother a white Cadillac Escalade for Christmas and shared photos of her reaction on Facebook along with a touching message. He wrote, "At 14, I saw my mom crying about our only car being repossessed. This felt good. Merry Christmas, Mom," he wrote. And that's the same car that got into the near-fatal accident Sunday morning. BuzzFeed, the online news site that built a massive following off of news lists and cat videos, has raised $50 million for expansion that may include making movies, according to media reports on Sunday. The capital was contributed by the leading Silicon Valley venture firm Andreessen Horowitz and the New York Times reported that the investment values the company at about $850 million. The site plans to officially announce the new capital raise on Monday. According to the Times, the cash infusion will be used to introduce new content sections, creating an in-house incubator for new technology, and put more resources towards BuzzFeed Motion Pictures, its Los Angeles-based video aim. In the Times, it wrote, BuzzFeed Motion Pictures, which is led by Z Frank, a web video pioneer, aims to produce new videos from 6-second clips made for social media to more traditional 22-minute shows at a rapid-fire pace. Initially, his team will focus on independent distribution, hosting video content on BuzzFeed.com, YouTube, and other digital platforms. But BuzzFeed Motion Pictures could also look to produce feature-length films or shows working in conjunction with traditional Hollywood studios. Chris Dixon, a general partner at Andreessen Horowitz, who will join BuzzFeed's board, said, "We think of BuzzFeed as more of a technology company. They embrace an internet culture. Everything is first optimized for mobile and social channels." BuzzFeed started in 2006 as kind of a media lab experiment in viral content, focusing on its now famous politicals. Twitter wags on Sunday night have already parodied the BuzzFeed news with tweets like 17 plus with an option on the BuzzFeed valuation and cute cat videos that were highly shareable. As the site has grown to a stunning 150 million monthly users, BuzzFeed has hired more traditional journalists and tried to calm the mantle of higher quality content with mixed success. A senior editor was fired this summer for rampant plagiarism, underlining the difficulty in marrying tech-driven success with the hardcore values of traditional journalism. Much of BuzzFeed's traffic comes from social media. Most of its revenue, now reported to be in the triple-digit million of dollars, comes from creating branded content, in other words, custom videos and list-style advertising contents for brands that look similar to its own editorial content. The Walt Disney Company was in negotiations earlier this year to acquire the media outlet famous for providing all those lists about things you never knew you care about, as well as serious, in-depth journalism. Apparently, the $1 billion price tag was the main reason talks fell through. Speaking of plagiarism, actor Ashton Kutcher's website aplus.com has been accused of plagiarizing entire pieces of content from other websites, including BuzzFeed and the Huffington Post. Internet news site The Daily Dot has been investigating A+ and found that it had lifted entire stories, listicles, and videos with very minor changes in the content and without properly crediting the source. It has recorded and screen-grabbed a large amount of content from the site. A+ has since removed the questionable content after The Daily Dot asked for comment, according to The Guardian. It also reported that A+ has removed all content posted before July from the site, all tweets before August 6th, and all Facebook posts before August 8th. A spokesperson for A+ told the newspaper, "We take these allegations seriously and are looking into them. The content that was removed was taken down as a precautionary measure. Respecting the intellectual property of others is extremely important to us." A+, which launched in 2011, vowed to use viral storytelling to change the world. After relaunching in 2013, it reports to have more than 30 million unique visitors over 100 days. Through his venture fund, A-Grade Investments, with Ron Burkle and Guy Orsiri, Kutcher has invested in multiple tech companies, including Spotify, Airbnb, Foursquare, Fab, Uber, Dawala, and Path. Kutcher is instrumental in getting the word out on the companies he's invested in. He regularly points them out on social media. He has 16.3 million followers on Twitter alone. There have been several stories of plagiarism which have plagued the news-gathering business in recent months. BuzzFeed fired a reporter in July after finding at least 41 instances of plagiarism, and in May, CNN fired an editor after discovering she plagiarized at least 50 of her stories. A Lifetime Network representative told the Wrap that Aaliyah's biopic has cast Charlize Delabier and Isaac Smith as producer, rappers Missy Elliott and Timberland, respectively. Delabier is a newcomer to Hollywood. She is a Canadian actress, singer, and dancer. Isaac Smith, on the other hand, was a contender on So You Think You Could Dance Canada. He's appeared in Percy Jackson, The Olympians, The Lightning Thief, and Mirror Mirror as a dancer. He also played Carl Rice on popular Canadian series Tower Prep and Danny on digital series Totally Am. Aaliyah worked with Timbaland and Missy Elliott on her second album, One in a Million, which sold 3.7 million copies in the United States and more than 8 million copies worldwide. In addition to DeBlaye and Smith, the production has cast Rachel Crawford and Sterling Jarvis as Aaliyah's parents, Diane and Michael Houghton, Larry Bent as her uncle and president of her label, Barry Hankerson, Anthony Grant as Damon Dash, and A.J. Sawden and Jesse Zuganda will play the older and younger version of Aaliyah's brother Rashid, respectively. The working title for the television movie is Aaliyah, Princess of R&B, and is based on the best-selling book Aaliyah, More Than a Woman by former Time music editor Christopher Farley. The film will be produced by Aaliyah Productions Incorporation, with Wendy Williams, Howard Bronstein, and Deborah Martin Chase executive producing. Bradley Walsh is directing, working on the script with Michael Elliott. It is filming this summer for a fall premiere. The proposed television movie about the singer, who died in a plane crash in 2001 at the age of 22, has been mirrored in controversy, with Aaliyah fans and her family expressing disapproval of the project. There was even a fan petition seeking to shut the production down. Fans believe that Disney Channel star Zendaya Coleman wasn't the right choice to play Aaliyah. She would later leave the project. Also, Aaliyah expressed to the Wrap that it was against the movie because they felt it was more suited for the big screen. R&B singer Ray J had a bizarre encounter with cops Wednesday, one minute before being ordered out of his car and the next taking pics with them, and the pics have triggered an LAPD investigation. Ray J was tooling around in his new Bentley in the San Fernando Valley when two officers noticed he was holding his cell phone appearing to text. Ray J told TMZ the two cops pulled him over and told him it was illegal to text and drive. They were also suspicious about the car because it had no license plate, but a customized RJ framework. Ray J told TMZ he explained he was not texting, but simply struggling to connect his Bluetooth. The cops then ran his license and registration, came back to the car, and warned him that if he was texting, he shouldn't do it anymore. They also asked if he was in the music business. It seemed like that should be the end of the story, but it was just the beginning. Ray told TMZ the two cops ordered him out of the car, and he was panicked things would go downhill. He got out. Ray says the cops then asked if they could take a few pictures with him. The cops then took cell phone photos, and then Ray asked if they would return the favor and take a few pics on his cell phone. They obliged, and TMZ has the pics. The law enforcement sources told TMZ the LAPD has now launched an internal affairs investigation. An LAPD bigwig told TMZ it's against policy for cops to take a picture with the driver after letting him off the hook because it creates an appearance of impropriety. Second, allegations have popped out regarding the late Michael Jackson. He, according to 3 Neverland maids, they say that they threatened his staff with animal poop balls and would freely piss all over the house, so claimed 3 former Neverland maids. The 3 maids spoke with the New York Post but did not want their names revealed. They told scatological stories about paint, a shocking tale of uncleanliness. One maid says when the urge hit, MJ would just unzip his pants and pee in the grand entry of Neverland. The maids were shocked because when guests like Oprah or Elizabeth Taylor would visit, the floors would be waxed, but all they can think of is they're stepping where Michael took a whiz. Another maid says Jackson would track in animal poop from his mini farm on the property and then threaten to throw poop snowballs at the help. The maid said Jackson lived like a pig. His bedroom was littered with half-eaten chicken, potato chips, empty wines, and whiskey bottles. One maid said it was so bad the place was infected with bed bugs. And there is one maid claims when MJ would see pictures of the Jackson 5 in magazines, he sent someone out to collect as many as they could, and then he'd shred them, saying, "Yuck, they don't deserve to have my name. They're gutless moochers. I'm the only star. They should be cleaning my shoes." A representative from Michael Jackson's estate says that these allegations are false, and they're currently under investigation regarding that. The husband of the band singer Sarah Stokes has just slapped her with divorce papers 2 days after she was thrown in jail. Emmanuel Tony Stokes filed documents in St. Clair County, Michigan to end their 18-year marriage. He claims, quote, the object of matrimony has been destroyed. They've been at each other's throats for years, and she was even charged with stabbing him in 2009. TMZ broke the story. Sarah was sentenced Monday to 93 days in the slammer for violating probation in yet another domestic violence case involving her husband. Tony filed for divorce 2 days later. Kings of Leon drummer Nathan Followwill was injured in a road accident involving the group's tour bus on Saturday night. The band shared the news over Facebook on Sunday, noting that Followwill was being treated for broken ribs but was doing well. The band made a statement by saying, quote, "The band was en route to their hotel after their show in Boston when a pedestrian jumped in front of their tour bus, causing the bus to stop short, injuring Nathan Followwill. The accident has forced the band to postpone their Sunday night show in Saratoga Springs, New York, under further notice. Refunds will be available to ticket holders." Bassist Jared Followwill, Nathan's brother, tweeted about the event on Sunday morning. He wrote, "So sad this AM bus accident last night. Nathan has broken ribs. This was the most fun tour in a while. We'll be back ASAP. Hashtag get well, Nate." Kings of Leon have only recently returned to the United States, continuing touring in support of their latest album, Mechanical Bull, after a few months on the road in Europe. The band just played Lollapalooza in Chicago last weekend and are set to join rapper Kanye West in headlining the Made in America Festival in Philadelphia at the end of the month. They are also scheduled to play The Tonight Show on Tuesday, August 12th, though it's unclear how Followwill's injury will affect their touring schedule, which involves some 30 shows over the next 2 months. And finally, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are back on top after 2 decades, and the heroes of the half-shell return in style, racking up an estimated $65 million in their first 3 days to conquer the North American box office. They knocked Marvel's superhero space romp Guardians of the Galaxy from the top spot after just a week. Peter Quill, Groot, and Rocket Raccoon held well in their second week and brought in $41.5 million for Disney, but the weekend belonged to everyone's favorite wisecracking mutant reptiles, Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo, Michelangelo. With producer Michael Bay and director Jonathan Leesman giving the gang a muscular special effects update, Ninja Turtles blew past the expectations of analysts who had the Turtle Tale opening at around $45 million. Meanwhile, Warner Bros. Found footage disaster saga Into the Storm did the best of 3 other wide-opening films. The Twister Tale took in $18 million for third place, beating out DreamWorks' Helen Mirren feudal drama The 100-Foot Journey, which finished 4th with $11.2 million. Step Up All In, the 5th installment in the low-budget dance franchise, shied to $6.5 million for Summit Entertainment. That put in 6th behind the Scarlett Johansson sci-fi tale Lucy, which was 5th with $11.2 million, and it's bearing down to $100 million domestically in its 3rd week for Universal. The critics weren't keen on the Ninja Turtles. It had a 40% positive rating on review aggregation site Rotten Tomatoes, but that didn't merit to audiences. Opening weekend crowds at the 3,845 theaters where the PG-13 rated action comedy was playing gave it a decent B score in CinemaScore. Paramount's Hercules was 7th with a $5.7 million third week that brings its domestic total to $63 million. Universal's James Brown's biopic Get On Up, Fox's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and Disney's Plane, Fire and Rescue round up the top 10. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is bearing down to $200 million at the domestic box office and has passed $500 million worldwide. CBS's film Daniel Radcliffe and Zoe Kazan's romantic comedy What If brought in an estimate $130,000 from 20 theaters, a $6,500 per screen average. It received an A- on CinemaScore in line with its strong reviews. And that is your entertainment report for Monday, August 11, 2014. This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello. That's RYMELO. And on Twitter at The Enter Report. Have a great work day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.